Liliana, I think, is like pretty shit in Legacy Cube, but kind of fantastic in Vintage Cube. Won the die roll. We get to be on the play here. So what do we have? We've got the Imp. Got 2 discard outlets, 3 discard outlets, and a bunch of redundancy. Well, we need to find both a kill spell and a card to discard. But we have a turn 2 Liliana on the play. So I'm going to keep. Playing the Putrid Imp turn 1 is kind of awkward because it's going to then give us awkward options for Liliana to discard. Like, would we rather just be able to bin the Putrid Imp and hang on to Yawgmoth's Will, Snapcaster Mage, Collective Brutality? Yeah, because we're planning on drawing a Swamp next turn. So if that's our plan, I think we just want to discard Putrid Imp. You know what? The Yawgmoth's Will is also probably going to be irrelevant. I think we're just going to just get there, or just make ourselves hellbent too quickly that Yawgmoth's Will isn't relevant. Plan is to get both players hellbent. Hope that that is good. Opponent also has a Putrid Imp. Wowie. Alright, so Liliana seems solid here. The discard isn't great. But our other option is Collective Brutality and make sure we take their reanimation spell from them. I think I like Liliana first. Because worst case scenario, we can go Collective Brutality, killing Putrid Imp, taking another card from their hand, and then Liliana sack. Yeah, this is fine. Opponent obviously doesn't care about the discard part of this. It's hurting us a little bit more than it's hurting them. Maybe I should have been Snapcaster Mage here, because I do already have black mana, whereas I don't have blue mana yet. Might have to discard Snapcaster Mage just to protect our Putrid Imp here, or just to protect our Liliana. Alright, our opponent bins a land. It means they don't have anything, which means the Collective Brutality would have been kind of solid. But we're going to let them bin a creature anyways somewhere down the line. So it's not a huge deal. If my opponent ever draws a creature, they're going to have to discard it to Liliana. We're going to hope to win this game via Liliana Ultimate, making our land drops and maybe playing a Massacre Worm somewhere down the line. We're going to board out Living Death for sure. Opponent's mana base seems sweet. Maybe they're going Careful Study into a reanimation spell here. That'd be pretty good. I guess they don't need to Careful Study, right? They can just play it. Plan is to escalate Collective Brutality and get us both hellbent as soon as possible. They have Collective Brutality too? Wow, you were kidding me. Alright, now Putrid Imp gets to come and pressure Liliana here. They could discard their hand to turn Putrid Imp into a 2/2. That seems not... Oh, they attacked me. Oh, that's interesting. That gives me 2 sacrifices still with Liliana. Yeah, we're going to fire off a sacrifice here, so that way if my opponent does reanimate something, we can tag that as well. And Sheoldred is the reanimation target. That's crazy how many of our cards are the same. Hopefully we win because we've got blue mana. We might also have Gristlebrand where my opponent might not have access to Gristlebrand. All right, well that's kind of a needs to die to Liliana target too, which is unfortunate. Hopefully, oh great, Time Walk. Well, Liliana's dead, so Gristlebrand's stuck in my hand. Yeah, I definitely wish I had Yawgmoth's Will in my hand instead of Snapcaster Mage. Because I could even just Yawgmoth's Will back like the Putrid Imp or something. Alright, that's unfortunate. My opponent's going to be able to loot away creatures, find better ones, but also just Liliana dying is awkward. JVP is going to be able to recast Time Walk. Opponent has Time Walk and Black Lotus. Let's just make them sack one of those really powerful creatures. They're still going to have a good creature out. Yep, they have Sheoldred too, so it's pretty close to a mirror match here. Alright, they're going to flip JVP. It's going to let them recast Time Walk. Well, if they ever put Sheoldred into play, maybe we can Snapcaster Edict it. So maybe we're not just super dead to Sheoldred. So Jace Time Walk is quite fantastic. What happened? Oh, my opponent discarded Kozilek to JVP. Okay. This card really is a... oh, they redrew the Imp. That's probably unlucky. We can beat this, for sure. My opponent starts milling us. That's awkwardly, like, very good for us. Though, they're only going to need to cast 5 spells to make that ultimate lethal. It's probably good enough here. Or not here, but at some point. Interesting. I can reanimate a Putrid Imp to discard Gristlebrand and Iona. We'll consider it. We'll consider it here. What's also interesting about it is I can kill my opponent's Putrid Imp, which takes them off of a discard outlet. They certainly are a Reanimator deck. And they're a Reanimator Eldrazi deck, even. What do you guys say? After they attack, I use Corpse Dance as a removal spell that makes me discard a bunch of cards? The awkward part is not casting with buyback. Like, if my opponent's not clocking me, maybe I can wait 2 more turns and just cast it with buyback. Okay. Alright, so this is the turn where I'm really punished for not having Yawgmoth's Will and instead having Snapcaster Mage. If this was a Yawgmoth's Will, I could cast it, put the Putrid Imp into play, and then next turn be able to Corpse Dance potentially with buyback the Gristlebrand or the Iona. I'd go for Gristlebrand first. Okay. For now, though, we're just going to pass. We can Snapcaster Edict at instant speed. Could also Snapcaster Yawgwill in some crazy universe. It's unlikely to be super relevant here. Oh, I can't cast Snapcaster Mage, so I don't know what I'm talking about here. We're just going to continue to take some damages. Jace is going to go up to 9 on this turn. Oh, sorry, he's going to go up to 10. It means my opponent can -9 him next turn. All they have to do then is cast 5 spells and I'm dead. Gristlebrand's a pretty bad liability at that point too. So I could Corpse Dance for Putrid Imp here. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to wait till I hit one more land. Wait, we also both have the Time Walk. How crazy is this matchup? Alright, I think we can win this. Still. My opponent has to be very careful with how they Jace ult me too. Because giving me a Sheoldred. Alright. They're going to go for the emblem. So if I can mill Sheoldred here, if Sheoldred is the top card of my bin, I'm going to go for an end step Corpse Stance. That means I'll get to attack with it. I'll get to like finish off Jace or something, but I also get to reanimate Imp. Which was about as good as this was going to get anyways. And I just don't have infinite time. Oh, yeah, they didn't give me a Sheoldred. Never mind. Alright. End of our next turn will be discarding Gristlebrand then. And then we just have to hit Time Walk and a reanimation spell. Jace is going to get ticked up. We're going to drop down to 14 here. If I hit a land, I think I just move to discard still. Oh, well, that's an even better one, isn't it? Wow. Iona or Gristlebrand? I don't know. Place your votes in chat, dudes. Discarding one of them to hand size here. But discard Gristlebrand. Gristlebrand lets me Time Walk, potentially. To be careful I don't mill myself. Iona's going to make it more difficult for me to mill myself, though. I think I discard Gristlebrand, end step Corpse Dance it, untap, draw a bunch of cards, Time Walk, Makeshift Mannequin. Can't do both of them. But then I'll have Snapcaster Time Walk online. Yeah, let's discard Gristlebrand. I could also Makeshift Mannequin this Gristlebrand. My opponent's very close to dying just by life points. We could Makeshift Mannequin, and then if they have a counter, we untap and Corpse Dance. Alright, opponent left Gristlebrand back. They are aware some shenanigans might be going on here. I get the Gristlebrand. I get to untap with it. Wow. Okay. I think we want to smack my opponent. Time Walk means we have almost lethal. I'm going to draw 14 cards and try to hit an untapped island. Assuming I get to gain 7 life. What's also cool is we get to discard cards, move into the time, like we get to draw a bunch of cards, then discard cards and move into the Time Walk turn. All we have to worry about is if my opponent casts 2 cards here, they could mill us. This is a very, very sweet game of Magic. I don't think we have to kill Jace because I don't think we're going to give my opponent another turn here. We can also kill Jace on the Time Walk turn too. The plan is to go Time Walk, Snapcaster, Time Walk. Like, that's all we got to do here. We have the technology. All right. Main phase 2. Let's draw 7 cards. So now we can go Island Time Walk, discard some cards. If my opponent has 2 spells in hand, they kill us. I think we have enough here. We have 2 islands. I don't think we have to do anything else. I think we just Time Walk. This may even prompt a concession from my opponent. Told my opponent in chat, actual mirror match. We just both have the exact same cards. I'm going to play an Una's Prowler. We probably don't get punished for that. My opponent had a Putrid Imp in hand that they weren't doing anything with. Okay, so now we discard until we have 7 cards in hand. We're going to discard... Elish Norn represents 8 points of damage. Iona represents 7. So we have to figure out which card we want to put on top. Which one we want to make the top creature in the graveyard. It's been gifts. How many cards do I have in hand? It's been Creepy Tar Pit. What do I want? Iona or Elish Norn? They're both lethal, right? So it shouldn't really matter. I think we have lethal without either of them. Oh shit, I did that in the wrong order. Okay, so plan here, Snapcaster Mage. Opponent said, haha, crazy in chat. I think they were referring to the fact that how much of a mirror match our deck was. I have Snapcaster Mage where they have Jace Telepath Unbound into, or from their Jace Vryn's Prodigy. But otherwise, we pretty much have the exact same fucking deck here. This is pretty crazy. Okay, so since it is the mirror match, I think I don't love Living Death. And I think Hypnotic Spectre's an interesting one. Hippie is good if it hits the reanimation spells. I think it's going to be good enough. Ophiomancer is good against Shieldred. Maybe I board out Elish Norn. Elish Norn could potentially be a little bit mediocre. And then is something like Treasure Cruise going to be good for us? Or not? Wheel of Fortune seems horrible. Yeah, I think let's board in Treasure Cruise. And see where we can get with that. Treasure Cruise is kind of in an awkward space in our deck because there's a lot of cards that we don't want to remove from our graveyard. We have Yawgmoth's Will in the deck, so we don't really want to remove anything. But in Vintage, you can play Yawgmoth's Will and Treasure Cruise in your deck because they're both just such powerful cards that if you draw either of them, they wind up being good. And they're an okay combination. Just okay. Not great. Much rather would have Ancestral. But, like, I don't want to exile my Time Walk ever. I don't want to exile my reanimation targets ever. Maybe I could have boarded out Massacre Worm as well. My opponent does have Fauna Shaman and some other cards. There's the Worm right on time. I'm going to keep a hand that has Liliana of the Veil in it. Our opponent mulliganed to 6. So Liliana's going to be pretty good. They've mulliganed to 5. And they've mulliganed to 4. And I think we're going to see a concession button pop up soon. Nope, they're going to keep their hand, and they're going to scry to the bottom. So Liliana's going to make them Hellbent real quick, and then if they can draw a reanimation spell before we can, which didn't happen, well, drawing it first or second doesn't really matter. If they reanimate Shieldred, yeah, I mean, this Liliana could come at a liability here. Una's Prowler's the same liability. That's fine. We'll run it out there. We're not going to just not play our cards ever here. I think we just have to run them out there and hope that my opponent doesn't hit the reanimation spell. The main thing that we're going to be ticking up to is Liliana Ultimate. All right, opponent's going to bin Shieldred. So what's interesting here is I could have deaded that, but I didn't quite get there. They're going to get a Shieldred. I'm going to say that's fine. We, like, arguably baited them into this. Now we get to I'm not going to discard anything here to Una's Prowler. Just going to sacrifice it. And we're going to use Liliana to Kiliana Sheoldred. Oh. He gets to choose which creature. He kept open double blue to bluff Counterspell. He's got 1 card in hand plus 1 card off the top of the deck. If we can dodge Reanimate for a second here, we're in a pretty good spot. He's going to take 2 and play a Fauna Shaman. All right, this is going to work out pretty well for us. We are going to Animate Dead on my opponent's Sheoldred because you can reanimate and animate dead your opponent's creatures, which is pretty good. Then we're going to tick up Liliana. That's gonna make him win the match. Yeah, this is a pretty crazy mirror matchup here. And Reanimate does hit cards in both graveyards, but so does Animate Dead. Enchant creature card in a graveyard. And then it gets animated on whoever owns the Animate Dead, or whoever controls the Animate Dead, I guess. Sweet. That'll be it. That was a pretty entertaining round 1 to get to play against the Reanimation Mirror.